Okay, we're switching gears slightly in this episode. Now we're looking at the pre-production from the point of view of a producer, because I also produced the short film that this video series is about. Now, one thing you should know is that I hate producing. I do it out of necessity. If you want full control over your film, or if you want to make sure the film actually gets made and at a decent pace, you need to take the bull by the horns and be a producer. However, that doesn't mean you have to be a lead producer. So I tried to find a producer to come on board so that I wouldn't have to lead the production of the project, because I wanted to focus on directing, the thing I actually care about.
Cheers, I'll drink to that, bro.
There were a few expressions of interest, but unfortunately they either weren't able to lead the project or it wasn't a right fit for the project itself, which meant I had to take on the production alone. Now, the reason I was looking for a production partner was that I knew the kind of project I wanted to make, by which I mean the scope. I knew it was going to take a lot of work and organization and would need a proper team. So I ended up pretty much becoming a monk for the 6 weeks coming up to the shoot dates. All I did was work and prepare this film. All day, all evening, also on the weekends.
I'm supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't.
As a result of this and the amazing team that worked on the film, it was the smoothest production I've ever experienced. This may sound like I'm blowing my own horn a bit here, and I am, but I had many of the cast and crew tell me the same thing, so I think something went right here, and hopefully I can pass that on.
Let me get to the point.
So how do you go from a script to ready to shoot from a production standpoint? Well, let's take a look at my production notes. This is the first thing I would recommend. Producing means dealing with 100 things at the same time, and I hate things rattling around in my head and forgetting them, so I put it all down in one document that gives me an overview. It also means I can share this document with anyone that's on the production team so that they have access to everything. So at the top I have links to all the most important files. You have the script, lookbook or booklet here, a locations sheet, casting call and call sheets. All the most important stuff ready to go.
Sensational.
By the way, quick disclaimer, since I produced this is my way of doing things. This process prioritizes what's important to me when I make films. This is almost definitely not representative of how things are done in your local industry. I'm just showing you this to illustrate how you can also do this if you want to make a film yourself. Other stuff I include in this document is an overview or to-do list. These are the most immediate tasks that need to be completed. Then after that, it follows headings, so shooting dates, locations, equipment. I also include notes about the status of these things, like prices and dates that locations might offer. I'll sometimes note when I sent them a follow-up email and where we're at. This just helps me and anyone on my team keep track of where I'm at with certain things.
What is he doing?
Let's start with the first thing. What do we need to start? Some damn shoot days. We need to know when we're doing this. At first, I thought, well, 6 scenes, how about 3 shoot days shooting 2 scenes per day? That sounds very relaxed and doable. Leaves plenty of time, which means no pressure and shorter days. The dream. But remember, every extra day multiplies your expenses. That's another day of transportation, equipment rental, vehicle rental, location rental, insurance, and so forth and so on. So I reduced it to 2 days, 3 scenes a day. I set these 2 shoot days 6 weeks ahead of time to account for everything: casting, rehearsals, meetings, negotiations, replacements, etc. Always overestimate this. People are really bad at judging how much time they need for a task, because people are dumb. And we're people.
We're both idiots.
Idiot, man.
In my mind, I locked these dates in. I decided these are the shooting days and I'll work and plan accordingly. I made sure to clearly communicate them and put them on every document: casting calls, shot lists, location sheets, production notes. You have to make them hard to miss, and really try hard not to change your shoot dates unless absolutely necessary. If you change your shoot dates, you'll confuse the shit out of people.
Okay, you lost me.
Let's talk about budget. Here are the things the budget was spent on in order of most to least. I'm not going to get into too much detail here because your budget is so specific to your project, your relationships, and your region, so I think these proportions might be more useful. By the way, no budget doesn't literally mean no budget. It just means your budget is so small that anyone in the industry would consider it practically non-existent. Like your little. One thing that really helped for this project was that by the generous grace of the team, they contributed their time and talent to the project without pay. This would otherwise certainly be the biggest expense. Just a reminder here, when people contribute their time and energy without pay, you better give them a nice environment to work in. Make sure they have what they need to do their best work: food, drinks, space, and time to rest. Lastly, always overestimate your budget. Mine ended up being double what I originally planned for.
You serious?
There'll always be unexpected expenses and necessary budgetary increases, so prepare for it or it'll kick you in the ass later. With regard to equipment rentals, build up a relationship. Try to find rental houses that are open to supporting up-and-coming filmmakers. You'd be surprised how open they can be. I take the approach of stating how much I have to spend and asking what they could offer given the conditions.
I'll take a rocket pop! What can I get for 30 cents?
We received some really generous discounts from Ari Rental Berlin, thank you Gabby, that allowed us to make the film at a much higher level than would otherwise have been possible. Don't forget to thank people for the favors they give you. You know, a box of chocolates, something nice. Keep in mind that when you get insanely good deals with high-end equipment, you might still have to insure that equipment, which can get very expensive if the equipment is expensive. More on that in the insurance bit.
Write it down and keep it for future reference.
Locations are tricky when you don't have much money. I tried to pick versatile locations that we could shoot multiple scenes at where possible. By the way, I would highly recommend showing up in person. People trust a face more than a phone call. People will also help a face more than a phone call. If you explain that you want to make films and that this is your passion and ask people if they could help you to make that a reality, that's something that's harder to say no to when you're standing right in front of them. Once you have your locations set, I would highly recommend having a locations sheet as an overview. I have a document with the different locations for the shoot days with addresses, Google Maps links, contact details, location notes and images, sometimes also with directions for unusual or difficult to reach locations. This makes sure that if anyone shows up later in a shoot day or is having difficulty, they can refer back to the sheet to find the set. It also just helps me have an overview of the locations. I can treat it like a checklist when acquiring locations as well. Then there's the crew. Finding crew was a case of getting in touch with people I knew from previous projects, asking people for recommendations, and posting on film job boards like Crew United, which, as of recording this, is now a paid platform.
Move this man!
So hopefully a new free platform will rise to the occasion soon. I kind of described this with the casting and the video on the director's pre-production, so I won't go into too much detail, but the important thing to keep in mind when posting an ad is what information the person you're looking for needs and wants. How do you make an unpaid project seem interesting to an AC? Maybe you include the fact that the equipment will come from Ari Rental, which means they can spend some time there and build a stronger relationship with the rental house. Logistics. When you're shooting a film, you need to constantly move things from point A to point B. Equipment and people. Try to absolutely minimize how much you have to do this. It's time consuming and expensive. For equipment transport, look at price comparison websites to get a good deal for van rental. Some equipment rental houses also have van bundles, but you just need to compare prices and see what makes the most sense. You could also see if any friends will let you borrow their van. There's options. For your cast and crew, you just need to see what's possible. Maybe you can take public transport, maybe you need a taxi. You just have to balance time, budget, and comfort. Not really much more to be said here.
It is what it is.
Contracts. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer and this isn't legal advice. This is my very limited understanding of it and could vary greatly depending on where, when, and who you are.
Are you sure this is legal?
I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
But you still probably want some form of contract with your team. You might ask, well, you're not paying people, why do you need contracts? Well, they're contributing their creative skill and maybe even their face and likeness to your film. You need the rights to use that in the film. Some film festivals will even check that all the rights for your film are in order before they screen it. More importantly, if you want to cover people with accident and liability insurance, you need some kind of written document indicating that they're part of the team that's being covered.
We need everyone on the same page.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of it. By the way, I just used ChatGPT to draft my contracts and asked it to make sure that certain things were covered in it. Not sure how legally robust any of that is, but it's the best you can do for a no-budget film, I would say.
We're lawyers!
So insurance. I have a whole video on film-related insurance if you want more in-depth information, because I know it gets kind of detailed and confusing. For this film, I had equipment, liability, and accident insurance. Equipment insurance was a requirement and expensive. Liability was to cover if anyone damaged anything at the shooting locations, and accident insurance covered the cast and crew getting injured. All the basics. It was the second biggest expense of the film, but it protects you, your team, and gives you peace of mind. Those are roughly the key points of planning the production for this short film. The next videos of this series will cover the production itself. Now get the fuck out of here and make your film.